Are you ready to handle the objections your next sales prospect throws in your path? If you answered no to that question, you have to join me for this episode of the Inside BS Show. Hey now, I'm Dave Lorenzo. I'm the godfather of growth, and today we're talking about sales objections. I'm actually going to take you behind the scenes in a live session with a handful of our clients as they pepper me with the objections they're facing in their sales process. Watch how I handle these objections and watch how I give them very specific, very focused language they can use to overcome the objections and to help close the deal. Now, because this is a live meeting, some of the participants' voices are a little bit lower than others. We've done what we could to enhance the audio, but the most important information will come through loud and clear. I can't wait for you to listen to this session. Enjoy your peek behind the scenes as we go and handle sales objections. Here we go.
About that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so you have your suspects, you go out to the suspects, they, respond, you get on a call, you pitch them, whatever the case is. How do you differentiate the ones that are like genuinely interested and can genuinely become a client, and the ones who are just like curious or learning or like want to hear more and have the budget, but
You want to know if they're serious or if they're just tire kicked. So you guys all need to write this down, okay? You don't go into that meeting unless you're sure you're going to get a yes or a no. We never take a maybe. I never go into a meeting where there's a possibility of getting a maybe, okay? So here's what you do before you take that meeting, okay? So you go and you say, Mr. Andrews, thank you for the phone call. Tell me what your problem is. You say it more eloquently than that. And Pete tells me what the problem is. And I say, Pete, I appreciate that. Sounds like you got a real thorny issue here. How much is this costing you? And he tells me how much it's costing. Or, what happens if you don't solve this problem? So you're digging for his pain there. So you're telling me if you don't solve this problem, you're going to get fired. Is that right? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. What makes you sure you're going to get fired if you don't solve this problem? My boss said if I don't solve this problem, I'm going to get fired. Great. Not great, but okay. I understand. So Pete, this problem's costing you $50,000 a month. If you don't solve this problem, you're going to get fired. Let's talk about what the solution to the problem is. He tells you what the solution to the problem is. Here are the things that I think I can do that may be of help to you. And then that's your pitch, right? You outline your pitch. So he says, that sounds about right. Then you say to him, what is the decision-making process? This is the magic question. Who else do we need to involve in this process? So you never exclude the person who's on the phone, even though there's some knucklehead stooge that's just getting information. You say, knucklehead stooge, I'm going to make you look good, and I'm going to take you into the decision maker with me. Who else do we need to go convince? Then you know what the process is. And Pete says, I gotta meet with Jovan because we're going to share this initiative together, and then the CEO, Gina, is going to ultimately make the decision. So I say, okay, Pete, let me make sure I understand. This is going to cost you your job if we don't solve this. You're losing $50,000 a month. But you and Jovan got to work together on it, and Gina's got to approve the budget. Yes, that's right. Okay, great. How soon can we get a meeting with Gina, Jovan, and you so that we can come to a resolution? Because I really want to make sure we solve this problem so you don't lose your job, Pete. See what I'm doing? I'm constantly hitting on the pain that he told me he has. So now he's like, Carla can solve my problem. I got to bring Jovan and Gina together, and we all got to convince Gina to solve this problem. Then you put your whole pitch together. You go back to Pete. You say, Pete, this is what I want to do. You think this will convince Gina? He says yes. You guys all get together. But before you have that meeting, you say, Pete, there's only one way I'm going to take this meeting. I'm only going to take this meeting if at the end of the meeting you're going to tell me yes or no. I'm okay with hearing no. I'm a big girl. I hear no all the time. I cannot deal with a maybe because a maybe means I might have to commit some resources, I might not, and I can't be in that position because the resources will be gone, and if I don't need them, I don't want to have to go round them up. So at the end of this meeting, I'll wait outside. You guys will decide yes or no. Can you promise me that I'll get a yes or no at the end of the meeting? Pete says, yeah, I mean, my job's on the line. If they say no, I got to figure something out. So yeah, I'll make sure you get a yes or a no. Then the meeting starts. Javon, Gina, great to meet you. Just want to be clear, Pete and I agreed at the end of this meeting, we're going to get a yes or a no. We still on the same page? I promise we'll tell you no if you're not a fit. Okay, great. And then you go forward with that pitch. But you don't do the pitch until they agree to tell you yes or no. That's it. And by the way, the more you stress that they have the ability to say no, the more likely they are to say yes, because you're giving them freedom. Did I answer your question? Are you good with that answer? Do you want to explore it more? What you want
We
to?
can talk about it more, but yeah, I just want to get out of these calls where I feel like, okay, I get past the prospect, past the suspect to a prospect, but then now I'm...
So if you're on the phone, before you invest any time, listen, I get these calls a lot. I want to make sure that you have a need right now. Tell me, what's the biggest problem that you're facing? When people tell me they need time to make a decision, they either don't have the money or they don't have enough facts. Which is it with you? That's the question you ask them. When people tell me they need time to make a decision, they either don't have the money or they don't have enough facts. If you don't have enough facts, I will stay on the phone until you've got all the facts you need to make a decision. If you don't have the money, tell me now and we'll stop talking and you call me back when you do have the money. Right. When people tell me that they need more time to make a decision, it's only one of those two things. There's no other option. The minute you tell the prospect this is not the first time you've heard their stupid objection, that's the minute the objection goes away. I need to talk to my partner. Well, why didn't you tell me you had a partner 6 months ago? No, so you're going to ask up front, who else do we need to talk to in order to make a decision here? All right, so let me get this straight. You told me that we don't need to talk to anybody else. You told me that you're willing to invest $50,000. My service is only $30,000. You told me that you had these 3 issues. I presented a solution. You told me that solution makes complete sense. Now you're telling me you need more facts. Let's go. Tell me what facts you need. I'm here.
And if the reason they need more time is because they're talking to your competitors, how do you handle that in terms of?
You're not talking to a competitor, are you?
No, I mean I think.
No, but that's you. You're not. You need. So sometimes. So here's the beauty of sales. All right.
Yeah, so then they interview.
So here's the beauty of sales. Okay. The thing that complicates sales is everybody's trying to be too cute by half, right? If you feel something, you just say what you feel, okay? We went through this whole process, Mr. Prospect. I gave you every answer to every question. Now you're telling me you need more time. Sometimes when people tell me that, they're talking to competitors. Are you talking to my competitor?
Yeah.
What's he going to do? If he lies to you, you're never going to get hired, right? So he's going to tell you the truth. Well, honestly, David, my colleague, Joanne, he's got this friend, and that friend's brother-in-law works for this company, and we think they got something for us. At least then you know, right?
Yeah, what was it? It was the next line.
So go with them then.
So what I always say is, well, it sounds like you need to go with your friend's buddy's brother-in-law. That makes a lot of sense. So, thanks for engaging me. I'll move on, and if it doesn't work out with you keep hitting on, if it doesn't work out with your friend's buddy's brother-in-law, who may or may not be an expert, who you're going to investigate. I mean, you don't be obnoxious about it, but you tell him how stupid he is that he's going with his friend's buddy's brother-in-law. I mean, this is what happens in these situations, right? Totally. So you got a qualified expert here, or you got your friend's buddy's brother-in-law who watched a show on this subject and is now the expert. He listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, and all of a sudden he's going to file a patent for you. Okay, great. Call me back when that doesn't work out. I'm here. You never alienate them. You just point out the guy who listened to the Joe Rogan podcast is not going to ever be more qualified than me, who went to law school. But if you want to give that a try, when the Joe Rogan podcast guy screws it up and you bring it back to me, it's $15,000. I'm happy to do the work at that point, but I got to undo all the stuff. Like in your case, if you have any money left after your friend's brother-in-law invests your portfolio, feel free to come back. I'll make it all back for you.
But for example, like if you're meeting with them on Wednesday, they've got something else on Friday, you're saying, hey, well, should we make a decision on...
If they're honest with you and they tell you you're meeting a competitor, you write up a list of questions and you say to them, here are the questions to ask the competitor.
Okay, yeah.
And those are questions that only you're qualified to answer, okay? To your point about the RFP, well, here's the thing. I only really answer RFPs if I help you write them in the first place. So would you be open to rewriting this? Like, they never hear that. And they're going to be like, well, what do you mean? Well, let me see it. Yeah, you're missing a lot of stuff here. I'm concerned that you're going to hire somebody who's not qualified with this RFP. Can I sit down with you and rewrite the RFP?
That's hysterical.
But that's, you're the expert. You're the expert. This RFP is a piece of crap.
They are 9 out of 10 times a piece of crap.
Yes, of course it is. Because who uses an RFP process? Somebody who doesn't know anybody. Right?
This would work really well if you're on the call as well.
So I've done that. I've done that. I've done that a million times.
I wouldn't have said any of these, but I'm thinking in Randy's situation, like these.
I've done it. I
amazing.
love it. By the way, this is like my favorite thing to do. I love
getting,
talking to
jazz
prospects. I love talking to prospects.
Written each one of these down.
But here's the thing, okay? People are not used to talking to people who speak plain English to them. And the minute you say to them, look, dude, you got $50 million and you're gonna trust it to your neighbor's brother-in-law? Like, what qualifies that guy? Oh, okay, that'll work out. Just have normal conversations with these people and say, listen, I make my living solving the problem that you have, and I'm doing it for a fair price. If you've been given a mandate to shop around, I understand. Just give me last look. Come to me at the end. And if I'm not the right solution for you, go with the other schmoes you're talking to. It's fine. Just make me last. Put me last in the process. And you should be confident in what you do, and you should be willing to let them shop around. Go. You know, if I'm not a fit, I want you to get somebody that you're happy with. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Inside BS Show. My name is Dave Lorenzo. If you'd like to apply to be a part of our community, please join us by completing your application directly with me on the phone. You can call me at 786-436-1986, 786-436-1986. I can't wait to speak with you. Join us by calling me today.